Hey guys, welcome back to Bible Fun with the Duns. Today we read Nehemiah chapter 3. Today's our last day in California, and we have had a lot of fun and got a little too much sun, but it was a beautiful day. Dust, do you want to start us out with Nehemiah?
Yeah, so in Nehemiah chapter 3, this is the people's response to Nehemiah's call for action. So what's happening in this passage is he's starting listing out where all the people are going to begin to do their work. And the first thing he starts to list is really the gates. And what's interesting about this is that if you look at these gates, the list of them begins at the north part of the city, and then it works its way around counterclockwise and includes kind of all of those gates in there. And the rest of it just kind of describes how they worked, where they worked, and really follows them as they work. So I've got a few good things I want to mention here, but what was your takeaway?
I loved seeing what happens when God's people work together. Dusty and I talked about this for a second. Teamwork makes the dream work. He's made fun of me all day, and we just had to restart the video because I made him laugh. And then he made me laugh. But I love seeing everybody working towards the same goal. It said all the different people, a perfumer, the Levites who were, made to be priests. It didn't matter who you were, where you're from, who your daddy was, what your trade was. They all joined together to work towards the same goal. And Dusty was saying how John chapter 17, this is what Jesus talks about, his people. And this was before that. But when his people come together and work as one, that's his goal for the church. That's what he sees for his people. And that's what we see in this chapter.
That's right. In John 17, that was Jesus's high priestly prayer. And his prayer was that we would be made one as he and the Father are one. And what you have here is just a good practical example of God's people pulling together as one and getting a project done that really nobody thought they were going to be able to do. What I think is really good about this is my favorite people in this passage is the Tekoites. They come from the city of Tekoa. Matter of fact, there's a minor prophet named Amos. He's a shepherd from Tekoa. And so these guys come into the city and they're working. Now here's what's interesting. In verse 5 it says, next to them the Tekoites made repairs, but their nobles, they're important guys, they're leaders. Their nobles did not put their shoulders to the work of the Lord. Okay? A good kind of reminder from this is, ivory towers or pedestals where if we try to put ourselves up on a pedestal or sit in an ivory tower, they're easy to isolate in, but they're poor places to set examples from. And so these leaders, they didn't go out and lead, but what was really good is that the people went out and still went to work. Matter of fact, it says later in verse 27, then the Tekoites repaired another section. So they didn't just do their work, they finished their work and they went to another project. What I like about that is that earthly leaders, they're not the standard for work ethic. Who were the Tekoites working for? They weren't working for their nobles. They were working for God. And this is why they were willing to go the extra mile, because God goes the extra mile for us. I love that. My other favorite part about this is a man named Shallum. Verse 12 says, and next to him was Shallum, the son of Halohesh, leader of the half district of Jerusalem. He and his daughters made repairs. Can I just tell you this? First of all, there's no way we're pronouncing their names right. Yeah, wait, look.
He just makes it up.
I just make it up as I go.
I do
and look,
too.
if you say it with enough confidence, everybody will just be like, oh, well, that's how it goes.
He knew him personally.
Oh gosh, they're best friends. Don't worry about pronouncing their names right. Just do your best, okay? So that's all I'm trying to do. What I like, though, is this guy goes out. He's a leader of half the city, and he takes his daughters to work. So he's not only serving, but he's taking his family into the work with him. By the way, that's kind of the way God set everything up too. Like in Deuteronomy 5, when God was talking about how the family is supposed to function spiritually, it's talking to moms and dads, fathers and mothers, and it says when you rise up, when you lay down, so in the morning time and at night time, everything in between, as you're working in the fields, walking along the roads, You're passing these things down to your children. And so what I like here is this guy, he's going to serve the Lord, and he says, I'm not just going to serve the Lord, my house is going to serve the Lord. Joshua said the same thing. He said, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. There's a lot of tie-ins, a lot of connections here. I really like this. And here's how it's being set up. In chapter 3 that we just read, this is the people's response to Nehemiah's call for action. When you read Nehemiah chapter 4, that's going to be the enemy's response to Nehemiah's call for action. So the people get going, and then the enemy gets stirred up. By the way, that's always how it works. So don't be distressed. Don't be surprised. This is the natural flow. If you're looking for what's a practical way to try to understand spiritual warfare, well, when God's people get moving and working together and the enemy comes after them, listen, that's not just metaphor. It happens here, but it's going to happen here too. So let's be on guard and let's be about the Lord's service, and let's take our families with us. All right? Hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time as we read Nehemiah 4.
All right. Bye.